Is somewhere out there, outside of us. But let's take a closer look. Here's how it actually works. Listen to me carefully. Problems do not exist at all. What you call a problem is your perception. It is how you see what's happening. Problems don't exist in reality. They exist in your perception. Your way of looking at things. Look, imagine a room. There are flowers in it. Children playing. It's filled with joy. But you only notice the trash can and the quarrel. That is your perception of the world. Your reality is wherever your attention is directed. People often grow up in an environment where they are taught to focus on hardship and suffering. And that's where they direct their attention. If you want change, start noticing where your attention goes and what you choose to see. Everything in your world is a reflection of your inner state. And while you focus on the trash can, the flowers remain unseen. And here is what's important to understand. You see problems for one reason only. You pay attention to them. There's a whole room, a trash can, flowers, children playing, some people quarreling, and you only see the trash can and the quarrel. But there's so much more. Yet you pay attention only to the trash can and the quarrel. Before something appears in front of you, it must occur within you. How does it appear before you? You automatically look for problems because that's what you're used to seeing. You already know they exist, and then you notice them instantly. But why do you notice those things specifically? Why do you see exactly that? Ask yourself, why? What else is happening? Why am I seeing this in particular? So much is happening, yet I see only this. Because your attention has always been directed there. It has become a habit, and now you're stuck in a vicious circle. Now look at it from another angle. There is only one Earth, populated by the same people, yet each life is different. One works with their hands, building, while another relaxes by a pool or sails on a yacht. What makes them different? Only self-knowledge. A builder thinks, I have debts, loans, how can I dream of anything? He lives inside that vicious cycle and sees nothing else. But the one by the pool knows that it's possible to live differently and chooses that life. It's not circumstances or location that differ, but the self-knowledge, the knowledge that another way of perceiving life is possible. That is the key. Everything is already within you. And when that understanding appears, the reality around you changes. I went through that myself, and I want to tell you my story. When I had over 25 million rubles in debt, I lived in a room without a toilet or shower. I had nothing, and I thought only about the debts. My life was falling apart. No one would lend me even 1,000 rubles. But I transformed my self-knowledge. I stopped seeing myself as someone with debts. I started seeing myself as someone who paid other people's salaries. Someone who could afford to pay everyone, and that knowledge changed things. I stopped being a debtor in my own eyes. And life began to change. I rejoiced simply because I woke up. That became more important than the debts. Thanks to that shift in perception, I stopped thinking about my monthly payments and started thinking about earning millions a day. That was the turning point. It's not the external circumstances that changed, but my self-knowledge. That's how it works. You shift your perception and stop living in debt and fear. So what did I do? I decided to shift my attention from problems to possibilities and solutions. And they began to appear. The reason you have problems is not because you're different or unlucky. You have problems because that's where you focus your attention. Others have different knowledge of themselves. They perceive themselves differently. Your goal is to notice where your attention is right now and understand why you see what you see. You have problems and opportunities. They exist simultaneously, but when your attention is on the problems, they become dominant. If you want something to change, simply shift your attention from problems to opportunities and solutions. They're right there. You just don't see them while you're looking the other way. Just be calm and honest with yourself. Don't try to overcome the problems. Simply redirect your attention. Now let's delve deeper. What is happening? Here's what is actually happening. An illusion. A person perceives something. The illusion creates a certain state. In other words, you perceive an illusion. And this perception of an illusion comes from available information. Growing up, you see, hear, and feel things. You absorb information and accumulate it. And based on that information, you perceive the illusion. This induces a particular state of mind. Your state of mind determines how events unfold. When you're happy, your thoughts are happy. Your interactions with people are filled with joy. The food you cook is delicious. The work you do flourishes. When you're angry, aggressive, anxious, depressed, or disappointed, your thoughts, interactions, even the food you prepare, everything reflects that state of mind. It's obvious, don't you see? You're old enough to have experienced both happiness and disappointment. You felt both of these emotions. So, try to remember what kind of thoughts you have when you're happy, and when you're angry, irritated, or offended. Your state shapes the chain of events, and it's very important to understand that it's an illusion. It's your perception. It's not the truth or objective reality, because neither exists. It's how people see the world, through the prism of perception. Let's summarize everything before moving on to the exercise. Problems don't exist on their own. They arise from your perception. And perception is shaped by your mental state. Problems arise because you continually focus on them, without realizing that by doing so, you create them. Thoughts and problems come and go on their own. No one creates them intentionally. If you don't cling to them, don't fight them, and don't feed them with your energy, they lose their power. All of that reflects your inner state. Attention is the key. Problems are merely thoughts that rise and fall like waves. True understanding is found in silence and self-knowledge. Shift your attention, and your perception will change. And life itself will change as well.